The Erector Spinae group runs from the sacrum to the occiput, along the posterior aspect of the vertebral column. The Erector Spinae muscles are like a tall poplar tree with three main branches, in this case, the spinalis, longissimus, and iliocostalis. The spinalis is the smallest of the three muscles and lies closest to the spine in the lamina groove. The thick longissimus and lateral iliocostalis form a visible mound along the lumbar and thoracic spine. The long tendons of iliocostalis extend laterally beneath the scapula.
So the Erector Spinae, those broad muscles that run right up the entire spine. Let's see if we can find them. I'm going to begin by asking my partner to just raise his feet a little bit. That's fabulous, right there. Now, the erectors don't obviously raise the feet, but they stabilize the pelvis when I ask him to do this action, and there we can see a really fine example of the lower portion of the Erector Spinae engaging as he does that. And notice when I ask him to relax, they soften and seem to disappear. Now, to engage the upper fibers, I'll ask my partner to just sort of arch his back a little bit. There you go. And there we can see deep to those middle fibers of the trapezius, the upper portion of the Erector Spinae right there. Great. Go ahead and relax. And they seem to soften and disappear. Great. Now, there's probably only one key bony landmark or landmarks that's going to help really get your hands on the erectors, and that's going to be the spinous processes of the thoracic and lumbar vertebrae. They run, of course, right down the center of the spine, and I can just set my fingers on those like so. If there's any other landmarks, I'd have to say it would be the PSIs, the posterior superior iliac spines, where those dimples are often found in the low back. And then lastly, probably the surface of the sacrum right here, which is where a lot of the erectors attach onto, right onto that tissue, into the thoracolumbar aponeurosis. Good. So what I'm going to do is just set my fingers next to the spinous processes and see if I can work my fingers into those erectors. Now, since I know that they run up the spine, I know that the fiber direction is going to run this way. So I'm going to purposefully roll my fingers across the fibers and really get a sense of their fibers and their density. Really quite large here in the lumbar area. And as I progress superiorly, they become a little broader and a little more tendinous, sort of thinning out a little bit. Here I'm working underneath those lower fibers of the trapezius. Now there's three branches of the Erector Spinae. The most medial, closest to the spinous processes, will be the smaller branch of the three, which will be the spinalis, right in here, right in that lamina groove. And then if I take it a step further lateral, I'm going to roll across the longissimus fibers. And then the most lateral will be the iliocostalis right out here, which has those tendons that come here almost spreading right underneath the scapula. Great. And finally, let's just check to make sure we're on the muscles we think we're on. If I ask my partner to just raise his feet up a little bit, I want to see if these muscles engage, and they do. Great. Go ahead and relax. Do these fibers run vertically up the spine? Yes, they do. And if I move up into the thoracic area here, beneath the superficial trapezius and then the intermediate rhomboid fibers, deep to those there, I can feel the fibers of the Erector Spinae. And those are just all ways that you can check to make sure that you're really feeling the erectors down the entire back.